Okay. The hat on like that. Yeah. I think we're gonna sit back here. Like this. Yeah. Am I good? Alright. Yo, yo, yo! What's good? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video, you've officially made it to 2021. Congratulations! Congrats! I'm so proud of you guys. This video is probably going to get out the first week after 2021, knowing how, I've been doing stuff like this. I'm a little late to the party. I don't know if y'all noticed, but your boy shaved his face, cleaned up a bit, yeah! And no, this isn't like a new year, new me kind of thing with shaving off the beard. It was just getting a little crazy up here. That's all. It just had to go. Anyway, hey guys, what's going on? Andy Brew coming at ya. And yeah, this video is a little bit late, but I've been seeing a bunch of other people do a video like this, and I figured, you know what? I've got some things to say, so I want to make one too. Today, I'm going to be looking back at 2020 and counting down my top 10 favorite games that came out in 2020. I know 2020 was a very hard year. It was rough for everybody. But in terms of gaming, it was a glorious year. There were so many amazing games that came out last year, and honestly, if it weren't for a lot of these games, I don't know how at least for me, I don't know how I would have got through this year. I feel like the games that came out this year is what saved a lot of people's sanity, in the times of quarantine and just everything going on in 2020. So yeah, I wanted to make a video counting down my top 10 favorites of 2020. For this list, I'm going to start at number 10 and work my way all the way down to number 1. Number 1 being my favorite game that I've played that came out in 2020. Now, again, this is my opinion, and so these are all games that I've played, so if there's a game that's not on this list that you thought should have been on this list, I would say 90% of the reason why it wouldn't be is because I just haven't played it. These are just the games that I played, and again, these are games that strictly came out in 2020, so like Among Us isn't going to be on this list or anything. And I'm also going to include DLCs that came out this year and expansions as well, because some of these DLCs and expansions that came out this year could stand out as their own game, and they made some experiences a lot better for me. And this is all just my opinion, and you guys are totally allowed to disagree. By the way, this video is going to be spoiler free, so if you're worried about spoilers, no worries, I'm not going to go into anything crazy. With that being said, here are my top 10 games of 2020, starting at number 10. Number 10 on this list is Fall Guys. This game it's so fun. It's free to play. It's a battle royale platformer. Yes, a battle royale platformer. It's incredible. If you know me, I really, really love platformers, and I'm not really too heavy into the battle royale scene, but dude, a battle royale platformer? Come on, let's go. So cool. I absolutely had a blast with this game. This game is so fun to play with friends. It's very simple. It's very silly. It's just a very fun time. And did I mention that it's free? Whenever I first started playing it, I was hooked on it. Because again, I love platformers, and having a battle royale platformer is just amazing. And like all the mini games are so fun, so unique. Like the obstacle courses are my favorite. I remember like hating Slime Climb the first time I played it, and then after I got good at Slime Climb, I absolutely loved it. It was like one of my favorite ones to do. Yeah, for season 1, I ended up grinding all the way out to like level 40, which I didn't think I was gonna do, but I just loved the game so much. And yeah, we got about 20 wins under our belt. Like at first I was kind of slacking, but after I got used to it, I was racking up those crowns. But I haven't played it in a while, and honestly, it did kind of die off after Season 1. I don't really see a ton of people playing it anymore, but this is a great game. A great free game to have in 2020. It had its time to shine, and honestly, it's still fun today. Like, if I would boot it up right now, it would still be a fun time. I just haven't played it in a while. Overall, super fun time. Fall Guys Pass kicks off this list at number 10.
See you in a few weeks, Spider-Man. New York's only Spider-Man.
I'm New York's only Spider-Man.
Number 9 on my list is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Whoo, man, this game was... Can I say that, in my opinion, I think that Spider-Man Miles Morales has the best web swinging in any Spider-Man game. I mean, the game looks phenomenal, and it, you know, it always feels good to fight, you know, in Spider-Man shoes. But the web swinging, oh my gosh, like, it just felt so natural. Like, the physics felt natural. It felt good, you know. Like, I felt like I was actually there, like, actually web swinging. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Spider-Man Miles Morales isn't really like a full game. It's more of an expansion off of Marvel's Spider-Man that came out in 2018. But my goodness, they really did this. They did Miles so good. Let me tell you about the music. It's fire. The combat and gameplay, fluid. The story was really good. I mean, you know, Marvel's Spider-Man had a really good story as well, so it's not really a surprise that Miles Morales' story is also really good. And of course, the voice acting in these last two Spider-Man games has been top tier. And yeah, I really enjoyed the heck out of this. It was, you know, not a very long game, like I said, but it was a nice next chapter to kind of follow the events of Marvel's Spider-Man. And now, you know, after this game, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do next for, you know, the next Spider-Man game, which they teased at the end. Actually, they teased at the end of both games, kind of where they're going with it. But yeah, overall, great game. Again, the web swinging was like the highlight for me. So yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales, number 9.
You were never one of us. You were nothing but a usurper, a false idol. My eyes have been opened. Let me help you to see, Slayer.
Number 8 on this list, Doom Eternal. Oh, baby. So my buddy Joe was actually the one who got me into Doom. Before Doom Eternal, I played Doom 2016. That was the only Doom game I played before that, and I loved it. And so Joe has been hyping up Doom Eternal to me, so I was like, well, I gotta play Doom 2016 first before I play Eternal. And then I played Doom Eternal, and oh my gosh, like, it's so fun. It's fast-paced. Like, just the action. Like, I'm there for the action. Incredibly fast-paced, incredibly intense, and it's actually got a pretty interesting story. Like, the lore is really interesting in Doom, which I didn't really pay attention too much in the 2016 Doom, but when Doom Eternal came out, I was pretty invested in it. In my opinion, everything in Doom Eternal is basically an upgrade from Doom 2016. Like, Doom 2016 was really good, but Doom Eternal just took everything to the next level with new abilities, gadgets, just everything. Even just the intensity of it. It was very satisfying to play. Like, just like, come on. You're going around, you're just slaughtering demons and monsters, and you know, you feel so good. I mean, there's other games that do that, but Doom Eternal is one that does it exceptionally well. This was a game that I only streamed on Twitch, so you're not going to find a playthrough of this game on this channel, but honestly, I would not be opposed to playing this game again. Maybe even trying Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare difficulty, as, you know, as difficult as that is. I've never tried it before, but I know it's really hard, so hey, it might be something we'll do, but yeah, Doom Eternal, number 8 on this list for sure. Number 7 on this list, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love this game so much. I mean, y'all know me. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. That's my favorite series of all time. You know, I love the series to death. And whenever I find out that we were getting a rhythm game, dude, I was hyped. Like, I don't play rhythm games at all. Like, never. I never do. But a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game celebrating the music in the Kingdom Hearts series. Like, and some people have said this before in other videos, but this game was so long overdue. Kingdom Hearts, one of the most, like, notable things about Kingdom Hearts is the music. That is the one thing that stands out, like, in my opinion, probably the most about the series. The music is so good. Some of the best soundtracks that I've ever heard are from Kingdom Hearts. Like, I probably listen to Kingdom Hearts music at least, like, once a day, let's be real. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory takes place after the events of Kingdom Hearts 3, and so we're kind of just going through Kairi's memories, and, you know, she's kind of recapping the journey of Kingdom Hearts as we're, you know, going through all these worlds, basically playing all these songs, you know, and it's, man, it's nostalgia overload for sure. And the coolest part is, even though this is a rhythm game, it plays like a Kingdom Hearts game. Like, that's so cool. You know, it's like, it's an action rhythm game. It plays like a Kingdom Hearts game, and, you know, I don't know how to really explain that if you never played Kingdom Hearts, but, like, if you have, then you know. Like I said before, Kingdom Hearts music is, for me, some of, like, the best music that I've listened to, in video games, I should say. And to get a game celebrating the music, and just kind of, you know, going through basically the entire series, like all the, you know, most of the music in the series, so good. But another one of the craziest parts about this game is, you know, they saved all of the story stuff until the very end. So, like, you had to earn the story, and which was fine by me. You know, I know people could just look it up on YouTube and watch the cutscenes. Nah, I wanted to play this game because, you know, it's a Kingdom Hearts game. I'm gonna play it. You know, I love Kingdom Hearts, and then just earn the story. And then it's probably a good 20 to 30 minutes of cutscenes. Maybe, I actually don't even know. But they save all the story stuff for the end, and the reason why I really love this game, not just because of the music, but because now it set us up perfectly for the future of this series. The 20 minutes of new cutscenes that we got really kind of just set the groundwork and, you know, paved a path as to what we can expect for the future of the series. It really left some stuff open, you know, massive cliffhanger, and it makes me so excited for the future of Kingdom Hearts, knowing where it's going. Honestly, Melody of Memory would be higher on this list, I feel like, but there was just some other games that came out this year that, like, just wowed me, you know, and so Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory I can confidently just put at number 7. Number 6 on this list, Paper Mario, the Origami King. I love this game so much. I feel like I'm going to say that about every single game on this list, like, oh, I love this game so much. But I do. I love all of these games on this list. Paper Mario, the Origami King, it's just a fun time. It's a really fun adventure. There are, like, a couple dark moments in the game, but, like, it's so, like, heartwarming. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just fun. Like, it just makes me happy. It's like, you ever play a game that whenever you're just playing it and you're like, this game is just making me smile so big. Like, that's what Paper Mario the Origami King is for me. It just makes me so happy. And of course, the best part of this game is the writing. The writing in every Paper Mario game is really good, out of the ones that I've played anyway. But just the writing and the dialogue between characters feels so, like, natural. And they really gave Mario, like, a lot more expression, I feel like, in this Paper Mario game. Again, compared to the ones that I played, I haven't played all of them. And of course, the highlight of this game is obviously Olivia. Like, she literally won my heart. She might be my favorite Paper Mario character of all time. She might be my top 5 favorite Mario characters of all time. Like, she is just awesome. She's so fun. She's so giddy. She's just so precious. Like, you can't not love Olivia. So she was 1000% the highlight of this game. And that's honestly, like, what made the journey really fun was having, you know, a character like Olivia there, along with all these other characters that are kind of, you know, segue in and travel with you throughout this journey. It's a really good time. It really is. I really enjoyed the heck out of it, and I highly recommend it if you're just looking for a game to just like, just make you happy, you know, just to make you smile a bit. And it's also funny, it's hilarious. Like, there's a lot of humor in this game. For me personally, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door will always be my favorite Paper Mario game. Honestly, Thousand Year Door is probably in my top 10 favorite games of all time. Like, that game is just goated. But Paper Mario: The Origami King, in terms of Paper Mario games, is a close second for me. So I highly, highly recommend it. Number 5 on this list is Genshin Impact. Ugh. I adore the heck out of this game. First off, this game is free, so instant download. This game came out of nowhere for me. It's an action RPG gacha game, and I didn't know what I was getting into the first time I played it, and then whenever I did play it, oh my gosh, like, I fell in love with it. The soundtrack, the soundtrack is one of the most beautiful soundtracks I ever heard. I know we were just talking about Melody of Memory, but my goodness, like, the Genshin soundtrack, the most beautiful, the most relaxing, some of the most relaxing music I've ever heard. It doesn't miss. You basically just go around and explore this beautiful open world environment. You get materials that level up your characters. You know, you get these primo gems, which you can spend on these banners to pull for certain characters or certain weapons. And it's also multiplayer, so you can play with friends, which is a ton of fun. You know, the landscape is beautiful. There's so many quests in the game. I mean, I don't play it as much as like some other people do, so I'm, you know, obviously you would run out of quests at some point, but like every time I boot up this game, I always have something to go back to. And that's the other thing. This game, I think, updates every 6 or 7 weeks. So like every 6 or 7 weeks you can expect some kind of new update, whether it's a new map, a new character, new feature, whatever. They're always updating it. And the story is actually really good. Like, I'm actually pretty interested in the lore. The characters are so fun to interact with, and they're so fun to play with, you know? Like, there's different characters for everybody depending on your play style. It's a good time, and it's pretty crazy because I know a lot of y'all have been, at least on this channel, have been really liking some of the Genshin content, so I do want to keep Genshin stuff going on this channel for sure. Maybe not like constantly, but definitely like every once in a while. Honestly, for me, Genshin Impact is one of those games where like every streamer I feel like has to have like that one game that they just play in their own time. Like, every streamer has to have that one game that they just, okay, I'm not going to stream this, I'm just going to relax and kind of play it in my own time. And Genshin Impact is that game for me. I've been playing this game a ton just in my off time. This is kind of, you know, my relaxing game to play. It's honestly very therapeutic for me. Like, that's how I describe it. It's like therapy for me. And it can be stressful at moments if you're like under-leveled in a certain area and you're trying to like, you know, take down like one of the bosses. It's like, oh, I'm too under-leveled, I'm getting smoked. But yeah, this game is, for me, very therapeutic, and I will stream it every once in a while. I'll have a video on it every once in a while, but it's just one of those games where you can just chill and relax. You can kind of do whatever you want. Like, even if you just want to run around and explore, open chests, pick some berries, pick some flowers, like whatever, you know, you can do that. Yeah, I adore this game. I'm gushing about it as I'm talking about it. But yeah, Genshin Impact, number 5 for me. Number 4 on this list, Ghost of Tsushima. This freaking game. Oh man. I didn't know really anything about this game, probably until like a few months before release, because I knew a lot of people were like hyping up this game for a while, but I was just like, I don't know what this game is. I've just been kind of seeing people hype it up, and then I checked it out. I watched like the one of the trailers, like one of the gameplay trailers for it. I was like, oh, I think I'll really like this, and then I ended up getting it, and dude, that was an experience. There's so much I could say about this game. Like I said before, there's not going to be spoilers in this video, so I won't be spoiling anything. But I will say, like, this story hit me harder than I thought it would. And I'll just, like, leave it at that. It's not, like, a super crazy complex story. It's very simple, but, you know, they kind of lay the groundwork at the beginning, and then there's build up throughout the entire game. And then whenever you get to the climax of the game, it just hits different. Like, they told this story so well, very, you know, nothing too crazy, pretty simple, but it's just, oh dude, like, it hit me on a different level. I played this game on the PS4, which I have no idea even how it runs on the PS4, considering like how it looks, but oh my gosh, like, the landscape is beautiful. It's so beautiful. You can just get lost just walking around in it. And the combat, like, it's very fun, satisfying combat, and it keeps you engaged because you're learning stuff over time as you're progressing throughout the game. You're learning all these new things, so it's not like, you know, it's not super boring. It keeps you engaged, keeps it you know, refreshing. And there's a lot to explore. There's a lot of collectibles and stuff to get. You know, this is a game that I want to platinum, but I haven't gotten the time to like get there yet because I've been playing other games, because there's other amazing games out here that came out last year. But yeah, like, this is a game that, like, again, usually I only platinum games if I really, really love the game. Like, that is the only time I'll ever, like, I'm not like a crazy completionist. It just depends on if I really love the game or not. And Ghost of Tsushima is one of those games where I definitely want to go back and platinum it, because I got my money's worth out of it. It's phenomenal. Like, again, the highlight for me, not just the open world aspect of, you know, going around and, you know, you're fighting the Mongols and stuff like that, but just like the story. The story was really good. If you know me, I'm a big story guy. And so I highly recommend Ghost of Tsushima. You will not be disappointed with it. But honestly, there's 3 more games that are, for me, that were above Ghost of Tsushima, which is crazy because this, like, Ghost of Tsushima is one of the best games that came out this year, like, no question, for sure. But there's 3 more for me that's above it. And so we're going to get to those ones right now. Number 3 on this list is Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and yes, in case you're wondering before you Google it, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind did come out in 2020, yeah. It doesn't feel like it did, but it did. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind took a game, Kingdom Hearts 3, that I really already enjoyed a lot, and it made it so much better. Again, this is my opinion, because I know a lot of people were pretty split on Kingdom Hearts 3, and even kind of split on Remind and stuff, but like, Remind completed Kingdom Hearts 3 for me. Remind gave us a lot of moments that we were craving in the base game. One of them, for example, being playing as Roxas. And no, that's not a spoiler because that was in the trailer, but Roxas fighting against Xemnas and Saix. I've been wanting a Roxas and Xemnas fight ever since 358 over 2 days. Like, I've been wanting that. That has been my dream encounter, and Remind gave us that, along with a lot of other amazing moments in the game. And it really, you know, it explains some stuff. I mean, some people would argue that, oh, you're just kind of replaying some of the bosses, which, like, you kind of are, but this was a much needed DLC. I enjoyed the story. It was an experience. There were so many top-notch moments in this DLC that just made me geek out, and I love it to death. But that's the crazy part about the Remind DLC. It's not just like this little bit of story. You also get 2 other parts of the DLC, which is Limit Cut and a secret episode. And I gotta say, for me, I love the Remind story, but the highlight of this DLC was Limit Cut, the data battles. These data battles are some of the best boss fights in the series. I loved the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix data fights. I love them to death. But the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind Limit Cut data battles, in my opinion, I thought that they were better than 2 Final Mix, which I didn't think they were going to be. But man, Osaka team outdone themselves. They outdid themselves with these data fights. They were so fun to play. I don't even know how much time I spent, doing these, but like they were a blast to do, a blast to like figure out. And they're very challenging. They're difficult, and I love that. I love that. So the data fight's definitely the highlight for me. If I could pick my top 3 data battles, I would say off the top of my head, it would be, in no particular order, Dark Riku, Shion, and Marluxia for sure. I mean, but I that's the thing, like, it's hard because, like, I loved all of them. Like, they were all so good. There wasn't one that I didn't like. And then after the data battles, you unlock the secret episode. And again, no spoilers for the secret episode or anything if you haven't finished it or whatever, if you're planning on doing it. But it is a secret boss, and it's a pretty crazy encounter. And it really, again, just like Melody of Memory, really makes me hype for the next chapter in Kingdom Hearts. So I'm super pumped about it. I'm super pumped about the series going forward. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind is in my top 3 favorite games of 2020.
Crash Bandicoot. It's about time.
Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, is my second favorite game that came out in 2020. And let me tell you why. Kingdom Hearts might be my all-time favorite series ever, like, in existence. But Crash Bandicoot is my childhood. Crash Bandicoot 1 on the PS1 was the first video game I ever played. I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. It was the first video game I ever played. So Crash has a special place in my heart. And to think that we got a brand new Crash game in 2020 that plays like a Crash game should play, dude, I was all over it. I was like, yes, I need this game. And my goodness, this game did not disappoint one bit. Crash 4 has everything a Crash game should have. You've got collectibles being your gems. You've got the time trials, which is honestly one of my favorite parts about Crash Bandicoot, is doing the time trials. And then just so much more. And it's even got a pretty good story, which is awesome. Like, the cutscenes are so fun. Cortex, as always, is the highlight. You can't go wrong with Cortex. And this game has callbacks to literally, like, every single Crash game. Even the games that, like, really weren't that good. I mean, there's stuff from, oh my gosh, like the map referencing Crash 1. They've got stuff from Crash 2, Crash 3. They've got a Crash Team Racing reference. Man, they've got it all. It's all in there. Even Wrath of Cortex. There's a couple of Easter eggs and references to Wrath of Cortex, and it's nostalgia overload for me. And again, so many other Easter eggs that I could spend forever talking about going into. But this game it's a gem. It really is. No pun intended, because gems with Crash and stuff, but like, it's amazing. And you know what else is crazy? This is the hardest Crash game I've ever played. Like, no question. If y'all thought that the Insane Trilogy was the Dark Souls of platformers, oh man, you've got another thing coming. Crash Bandicoot 4 makes playing the Insane Trilogy feel like you're swimming in a kiddie pool. Dude, some of these levels in Crash 4 make Stormy Ascent look like you're just sliding down a slide at a playground. This game is hard, even if you're just like casually just like going through all the levels and just playing it that way, which is fine. Every time I play through a Crash game, I have to like 100% the game. Like that, it's just in my nature to do that for Crash Bandicoot. it. Not just because I love Crash so much, but literally because, like, I feel like if I don't get all the gems and all the relics and stuff, then I haven't really beat this game, you know? That's just for me, and that's my relationship with Crash in general. To put it into perspective, I have almost 100 hours into this game, and I still have 5 perfect relics left to get. That's the other thing. They added this new thing called perfect relics. Well, okay, they added a couple new things. They added these flashback tapes, which are kind of like the equivalent of like the death routes in the previous games, but you collect them and then they're like their own separate levels, kind of going back in time, seeing, you know, basically Crash and Coco like in like whenever Cortex was like basically, you know, training them and experimenting on them. But they added these things called perfect relics. Now you've got your gems, you've got your time trial relics, you've got your flashback tapes and relics for those as well. But the perfect relics require you to break every single box in the level without dying once. And it's very challenging because you could be spending like 15, 20 minutes on a level and then die at the very end and have to restart. Or you can spend, I don't know, like you can get through a level that you're struggling with, like to try to get all the bosses for, and then miss one box. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me, but I love the challenge. It's a completionist's nightmare, but it's so fun. And again, like I said, so many callbacks to previous Crash games, and the game plays so well. I mean, it runs at 60 FPS. You get to play as Crash and Coco, which is cool. It's just by preference. And like, just like, you know, his jumping, Crash's single jump in this game, I think is the best in any Crash game. And his double jump is very floaty. And like, I actually love it because you get farther distance on it. And it is floaty for a reason because like the levels, you know, are built around how Crash and Coco play, you know? It's very satisfying. You know, Wampa Fruit has a purpose in this game besides just extra lives. You know, you actually need them to get like gems and stuff. And yeah, it plays really, really well. It's a very fun game to play. Crash Bandicoot 4, I think, might be my favorite Crash game of all time. It might be. Like, it's a blast. I love it so much. I adore the heck out of it. But there's one game that for me personally, that outshines all of these other games that I just listed, all these other amazing games that I just listed. And if you've been here on this channel, you know what game this is. You know what game I'm going to say, but yeah, I'm just getting emotional thinking about it. Like, it's so good. This is my number 1 game of 2020. My favorite game that came out in 2020, without a doubt, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I don't have words to describe how good this game is as both a standalone Final Fantasy game, but also a remake of OG Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII Remake blew me away. Now, just to give you context, I played OG FF7 all the way through, but I didn't grow up on Final Fantasy like at all, and which means I didn't play Final Fantasy VII until recently. I played Final Fantasy VII. I think I started playing it at the tail end of 2019, and I finished it a month before the remake came out. So like Final Fantasy VII is like fresh in my head. This game didn't hit me, the remake didn't hit me on like a nostalgia standpoint because again, I didn't grow up on Final Fantasy. But my goodness, I have never had such a high appreciation for a game than I have for Final Fantasy VII Remake. They did this game so good. They brought Final Fantasy VII to life. They brought these characters to life. That's the best part of the game for me. The characters. The characters are the highlight of Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake. They did such a good job of bringing these characters to life, of giving these characters so much personality, of making you really fall in love with these characters. I couldn't have asked for a better way to do this remake. The story, I mean, you know me, I'm a big story guy, and again, without spoiling anything, you know, they do make some changes to the story, and that's actually, you know, I know some people have had issues with some of the changes that they've made, because once you get to the end of the game, it gets pretty intense. Like, they switch a lot of stuff up, because, you know, it ends, it doesn't go through all of FF7, it just ends at, you know, it's just Midgar. That's what it is. But, oh my gosh, just, again, I'm blanking because, like, I don't have words. Like, I love this game to death. It's literally, it might be one of the best games I've ever played. Like, I know that's a big statement to make, but it's definitely like my top 5 games I've ever played of all time. This combat system, let me tell you, I think is my favorite combat system in video games, like in any game. Like, they meshed perfectly an action RPG combat system with turn-based ATB combat. Like, it's so good, it's so fluid, like, just, it's perfect. It's a perfect mesh of turn-based and action RPG, and like that's the only way I can describe it. And every character has their own unique moveset that's very, you know, special for them. And it's kind of giving you like a different, I think, you know, the Landy Lodge brought this up in a video that he did, shout out by the way. But you have a different experience playing with each character, whether you're playing as Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, Aerith, like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. It's so fun. And they really brought this world to life. Like Midgar was so lively. Like, you're just walking through, you can just be walking through Midgar, whether you're in like the slums or in Wall Market or whatever. Like, you feel like you're there. Like, there's just people talking around you. It's so full of life. And you can really tell that Square really just poured everything into this remake. I could go on forever talking about how amazing Final Fantasy VII Remake is, but I really just want you to experience it for yourself. Please go play this game. You know, I don't want to say too much because, like, it's an experience. And this is the thing. You don't have to, whether you played the original FF7 or not, you can still enjoy the heck out of this game. Like, if you played the original Final Fantasy VII, you will appreciate the remake so much more. But even if you've never played the OG game and you just play the remake, it's gonna make you want to play Final Fantasy, like the original Final Fantasy VII. Like, you're still gonna enjoy it because of like the different changes that they made. Like, honestly, again, whenever I got to the end of the game, even though I know the story of Final Fantasy VII, I didn't know what to expect. Because I had no idea where they were going to go with it. And that's actually, like, the beauty of it for me. Is, like, I don't know what to expect, but I'm really hype about it, you know? And, like, okay, see it like this, right? This is kind of a goofy analogy, but I guess it works. Playing the original Final Fantasy VII is like reading the manga. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake is like watching the anime and waiting for the next season to come out. So, like, that's how I see that. But, again, you're going to get the same but a different experience regardless of what you play first. Like, it's, again, you'll have a higher appreciation for the remake if you play OG first. But I feel like the remake will make you want to play the original. And, like, even if you don't want to play the original, that's fine. Like, I think you're still going to love the story that Final Fantasy VII Remake has to offer you. I probably missed a whole lot of stuff talking about these games, but honestly, like, that's my list. Those are my top 10 games of 2020. Final Fantasy VII Remake being the best game that I played in 2020. Honestly, one of the best games I've ever played. And yeah, it was a really good year for gaming. You know, it was not a good year in general. But in terms of gaming, this year was, the games that came out this year, we needed them this year, you know? And so, like, I'm glad that we got the games that we got, and I'm real blessed for, you know, being able to play these games and share my experiences with you guys. By the way, every single game that I listed, I actually played right here on this channel. We streamed it right here on this channel, and there's other videos for them as well that, you know, of just moments that I've had in these games. So if you want to check out the playthroughs, I'm going to drop a link to every single playlist for all these games on this channel, with the exception of Doom Eternal, because I did only play that on Twitch, so you're not going to be able to find that playthrough. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't be opposed to doing another playthrough of that maybe in the future. But yeah, make sure to check out those playthroughs down below if you're interested, and that is going to be it for today. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know your favorite games of 2020 down below in the comments. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe. And until the next video, live stream, whatever it might be, my name's Andy Brew, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.